Of course, one of the ways for African Americans to tell our stories and break down stereotypes is by producing radio and television programs about the Black experience. That was the topic of discussion on a 1993 Detroit Black Journal show featuring trendsetters in local Black television programming. Take a look.
We have Transition, we have Detroit Black Journal, we have other programs. How good a job are we doing?
Oh, we're doing a fair job, not a good job, a fair job in the face of the obstacles that we encounter. I think we could do a much better job. This is a good example of how we should, some of the things we should be doing. We should be interacting like we're doing this evening. We don't do enough of that. We are now working with Professor Alice Tate on a history of For My People and Project B.A.I.T. We don't do enough research to understand what we are and what we have been and what we are going to be. So we don't do enough of that. We don't do enough promotion of what we actually produce. So in that sense, I think we do a fair job, not a good job.
I think we need to define something here, too, when you look at the potential of television to educate and to influence, particularly the minds of young people. David, I'll start with you. What should we be about? What is that mark out there that we should be aiming for?
Well, I think we should, in a sense, be looking inward to challenge ourselves, okay? We don't, in contrast to Transition, we're not interested in a dialogue with other folk, okay? We don't view them as mainstream, okay? We just simply look at our stream, okay? And we think it is our conception that our stream is the mainstream. We're not trying to establish any dialogues.
It's not a stream, though. You know, I mean, we're all in the same stream, not to cut you off, David, but I mean, you know, from a transition standpoint, there's one stream that goes through here. Either we're all riding down that stream to economic prosperity, to diversity, to sharing the wealth and presenting ourselves in the way we really are, or we're not even in the stream.
Here with me now are two members of Project B.A.I.T, NKenge Zola and Clifford Sykes, along with former Detroit Black Journal host Trudy Gallant-Stokes. Welcome to American Black Journal. Thank you. Trudy, do you want to sit here and ask the questions? Do you feel comfortable in that guest seat?
It is a little unusual, but
it's
that's
a little
okay.
different,
I'll
right?
let you handle it.
First, tell us about Project B.A.I.T and your history here in the city of Detroit. I was saying to you before we started, I'm on WDET now. When I was younger, I sort of learned about that from listening to your voice.
Well, let me tell you. Thank you, by the way. Let me tell you the thing about Project B.A.I.T that really attracted the mysteries of life through the aspect of the collective or the collaborative, because Project B.A.I.T was a Black media collective, which B.A.I.T standing for Black Awareness in Television, and then transformed by the 90s to Black Awareness in Technology.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
B.A.I.T.
Technology pretty important, right?
Yes, but at the same time as the television was produced, there was radio produced, as you know, at WDET. And the thing that was so intriguing to me was the notion of the collective or the collaborative. For instance, our ins and outs were not starting with, I'm so-and-so, or the close is not, I'm so-and-so, but Project B.A.I.T is speaking with. And in that process, rather than assuming anonymity, one assumed an aspect of being sort of like a brick in a building or a structure, you know, where you're supporting, even though you're not saying your name, you become Project B.A.I.T. Project B.A.I.T becomes an expression of a deeper flow of life than just the individual.
Sure.
Okay, so we don't have anonymity, but we have a strong structure of individuals contributing to a whole.
Yeah, and that's a very different approach to media. Talk about what the response was when you came and said, "Here's how we want to do this." I would imagine there were people who said, "I don't quite understand that."
Yes.
Well, Project B.A.I.T had the courage to do something that none of the other media did, except for Channel 50. We had an agreement with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, which is the union for media, television, radio stations. And for instance, my training at Project B.A.I.T began with writing stories and progressed throughout all aspects of radio and television production. My training began on a $350,000 color RCA television camera. Colleges don't do that.
Right.
You understand? So Project B.A.I.T, a group of students and community members with David Rambo, who was just on,
Who was that, right?
went to Channel 50 and said, look, the only thing we see black on television is Tarzan and the Little Rascals. And that has to stop.
Yeah, yeah.
So Project B.A.I.T, and still is, the oldest black radio and television production company east of the Mississippi River.
Huh, wow. I don't think I knew that. Truly, as I said earlier tonight, there have been a lot of hosts of this show, and we're going to talk to a lot of them this year during this 50th anniversary. But first, tell me about the time that you hosted and what it was like.
I was reflecting back, and I thought, I'm not even sure of the exact years, but I started actually as the producer when Ed Gordon was the host. And then when Ed left to go to B.E.T, I became the host. So it was, hey, I was just a child. It was late 80s, early 90s. But I know in particular, I remember we worked on a special. Unfortunately, the crack epidemic was just starting, so we did a special on that. And just trying to come up with unique perspectives with whatever was going on in the general news community, but from a different perspective. The debate over casino gambling had started, so I know we had Mayor Young on and many of the people who were pushing for that. So once again, still trying to come up with a different angle, maybe the same news stories that are being covered in the general media, but we tried to take a different perspective.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, all three of you have worked in this space where you're making sort of affirmative decisions to discuss African-American issues and sort of push them out to the larger community. I wonder what you think, though, of the efforts inside mainstream media to be more aware of those issues and more sensitive. Does that work? Look on your face says a lot, right?
Does it work? Let's look at it this way. See, one of the things that I found so, again, intriguing about working with Project B.A.I.T, particularly because I got here, I guess, mid-70s. We got a year apart, we came.
75.
And I found that thinking back over things as an older woman, I was a young woman when I started, that there are really some complexes that we kind of try to avoid. And that would be the superiority complex as producers, the inferiority complex, or the equality complex. So if we're still calling Detroit a city of minorities, when for 30, 40, 50 years, there's been a majority of black...
We've been the majority.
Yes.
Great point.
And I don't know why we keep doing that. But that tells me, again, that the people who were doing your media, the people who were thinking, you asked some very intriguing questions during your programming. I appreciate that from you. And I think that it's important for us to remember that we don't need to be equal, superior, or inferior. We need to have a certain insight. The people who are doing your media, whether you get paid for it or not, because B.A.I.T was not a paying gig. It was an opportunity to learn skills in a situation where, generally speaking, the non-colored folks didn't have skills. So he's talking about this camera that he's on, right? So here we are in a situation where, I mean, everything's going on. Crazy stuff is going on. But you need some individuals who have an insight or a hearing or a feeling that goes beyond and deeper than what's presented to you. You have to be able to create some sort of perspective. You have to go deep and understand and listen. You know? You know that.
Right.
Look,
Clifford.
Malcolm taught us about the power of the media. if you ever listen to Malcolm X talk about the power of the media to change people's minds, to make you love somebody or hate somebody, and if you're constantly bombarded with negative images, you know, of course you're going to have a negative, and you don't even know why.
Right.
The power of the media. So much of what I learned from the black press. And again, Project B.A.I.T had the courage to get people from the media who wanted to learn, who otherwise would not get a chance to go to a university to learn. And because of my experience with Project B.A.I.T, I went back to school and got another undergraduate degree in media, in radio and television production. And I sailed through it because of my experience at Project B.A.I.T. Okay. And if mainstream media today had the courage, they would reproduce Project B.A.I.T.
Huh. Wow, there's an idea, right?
Good idea.
Talk about your experiences outside of American Black Journal and how they were different maybe from the way that, that these issues get framed on this show.
I did. After leaving, prior to doing Detroit Black Journal, I had worked in mainstream media. I worked as a reporter, CBS affiliate in Toledo, so certainly I did have that other perspective. But I think if we just look at what has happened in the last year, it is so crucial to control the storytelling. I mean, look at what's going on in the media right now, and I think if we've learned nothing in the last year, we've learned that you have to tell your own story, you have to control that narrative. So that's why it's still so crucial today, and that's why you know, American Black Journal is still relevant today and still needed today, because we have to tell our own stories, because often if we don't do it, no one else will do it.
You know, when you did the show in the 90s, did you think it would still be a sort of crucial element of the media picture in 2018?
I don't think so.
No?
You know, naturally, I think we all thought that we're making progress. As somebody else said, affirmative action was very popular, and so, you know, we kind of peaked and then started to go back down again. So then that renewed that need to come back and tell those stories. So here we are.
Yeah.
It's almost cyclical, circles, you know, or a pendulum, you know.
What about with Project B.A.I.T? Did you believe that something like that would be necessary so much later? You did, right?
Yes, yes, because there's such a deep well of politically, spiritually inspired people here that they're not reflected in what we see, whether it be commercial or non-commercial.
And Project B.A.I.T, as we said, Black awareness in television and For My People from the poem was on the cutting edge, and grassroots people were able to come up and get phenomenal training in every aspect of radio and TV production. And once the paid staff at Channel 50 saw the training that we were doing, then they would really sit back and let us have it, and gave us 3 or 4 hours. We had radio shows, as she said, on WTVS, radio, WKBD, and DET, and incidentally, I did do Black Journal with Livonia, with Livonia Perryman, right? And but that was because of my training with Project B.A.I.T, and because of those pioneers, and as I said with David Rambo, and not only that, but he never takes personal credit, but it is about the collective. And I wanted to announce my name. He said, no, you don't do that. It's Project B.A.I.T.
It's about
produces.
everybody, And that opportunity is the real key.
And again, if we wanted to change the narrative, the constant barrage of negative rapes, robs, murders, shootings, if the mainstream media wanted to change that, they could change it like that. Reproduce Project B.A.I.T, what we did.
Okay. Thank you all for being here.
Thanks for having us.